Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game. Big Ten champions.
Big Ten champs.
National champions, yes.
Oklahoma City bound the Oregon Ducks.
Awesome day to be a Duck, man.
Boom inside. Touchdown, Oregon.
He gets loose. Fires. Hits. Pops the three. Oh, yeah. It's all Oregon.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider.
It's about how to be a group of people that know how to love each other to the absolute fullest.
Pleasure, joy to be with them each and every day, and I can't wait for the future.
It's just fun to be a part of a community that cares, that is passionate, and when we come together, powerful things can happen.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck athletics.
It is a big Thursday here in the Country Financial Studio because it's Oregon softball game day in the postseason. Yeah, that's right. The postseason starts now. It actually starts during the show for Oregon softball against Wisconsin. A 1:30 Pacific time first pitch on Big Ten Network. We actually got it on in the studio right now watching the game before Oregon with Nebraska and Michigan currently playing in their game. Oregon will play against Wisconsin, who was the winner of the first round matchup that they played. Oregon had the automatic bye into the quarterfinals, with their seeding as the number 2 seed in the Big Ten tournament, as Oregon looks to continue to march forward in their postseason play. First, the Big Ten tournament, then it's regionals, then it's super regionals, and then it's Women's College World Series. Mark your calendars. Oregon looking for another big run back to the Women's College World Series, just like they had last season, and it starts in the postseason here coming up today. We'll take you through the entire schedule for Oregon and their postseason, the implications, what all of it means. That's coming up on the show a little bit later. But we're also talking about Oregon baseball and where the Ducks are at, because the Ducks on the baseball diamond are preparing for another big series in their own right against top caliber Big Ten performances. Also on the show, talking Oregon women's golf, who is slated into their regional round. We know where they're going. They're going to Waco for their regional, and we're talking with one of their standouts, Tong An. Met with Joey earlier in the week. Talking all of that here on the show today. But first, Oregon baseball. The Ducks going down to Los Angeles to play UCLA, the number 1 team in the country. UCLA, they have not lost to a Big Ten team this season. Well, they haven't played Oregon yet this season either. And the Ducks right now are in a tie for second up at the top of the Big Ten standings. Some things in flux depending on games back, because USC has played one more weekend. But right now, Oregon looks like they're in a tie for second in the Big Ten standings. Nonetheless, it means that there are big weekends. 6 games in the regular season left for Oregon against UCLA and USC. Both teams that are right now in regional hosting positions. Oregon looking for some resume wins down the stretch. These are a big 6 games to close the season, and it starts this weekend against UCLA starting on Friday. Joey making the trip for the Ducks on the Oregon Sports Network. He'll have the call for you, and the entire team, of course, making the trip down to Los Angeles for a massive series. Head coach Mark Wasikowski met with the media yesterday talking about a massive series for Oregon going up against the Bruins. Here's the thoughts before the weekend clash from Was.
Junior was talking about his time begging to get back at the bat, coming back out of his injury and trying to come back into this season. What were those conversations like, and how grateful are you guys as a staff to be able to give him the chance, the power that he's been able to bring to the team this season?
Yeah, Junior's a really neat kid, right? I mean, all these guys are really neat. He really neat. He got an opportunity to show what he's got, right? And it was a little bit sticky because early on he didn't have a whole lot of at-bats because of the injury that he was recovering from. And so he was just medically not allowed to get out there a whole lot, right? And so I credit Coach Martyr. I really felt like him and Brett Thomas had something to do with, I don't know, there was one period of time early in the year he was not in the lineup. I think Dom Hellman actually was maybe the National Player of the Week or something like that one week. And, I mean, this kid, Junior was looking even as good as Dom was in batting practice. And I was just like, holy cow, this guy is absolutely killing it. And he always had some power, but still yet, there were some tweaks that he made in his swing with the hitting guys, with Brett and with Jack. And I really felt like made huge progress and strides. Neat kid, really special human being. And just like all these guys, they want an opportunity, want an opportunity to be able to show what they have and succeed. Those opportunities usually don't necessarily come on their time frame, especially when you're dealing with an injury like he was. He had to sit and kind of wait a little bit behind some guys, and boy, is that hard. None of these guys are being recruited to the University of Oregon or like schools where, they're used to sitting on a bench or waiting their turn. They're actually the stars of the team. And so for them to not be inserted in there and be in there every single day is a really, really hard thing for these guys because they've never done it. They're not being recruited by being a great bench player. They're being recruited because they're the studs on the team they're coming from. So, just to be able to get through some of those things is really, really hard for guys at this level sometimes because they've had to wait their turn. And that waiting their turn thing, even though they may tell you, hey, I understand, I may have to wait my turn, they don't understand because they've never experienced it before. How could they understand? And that's where the coaching part of it probably is most important, because being aware as a coach enough to know that each player really has huge dreams and desires in this thing, and being there for them, not necessarily when they're the national hit of the week, but it's on the other times. It's when those guys aren't in the lineup and kind of putting yourself in their shoes on how they feel. I think that's really important. And Junior was able to overcome all that stuff to where when he did get his opportunity, he's done very, very well with his opportunity. But I feel strongly that no matter the name of the player that gets put in there, I think the same for probably all of them. I think they probably all have great abilities inside of them and will show you the same things. And some guys will just do it sooner rather than later, and Junior did it sooner.
When you're gearing up for an important weekend like this against UCLA, is there any adjustments to the game plan that you going into a team of this caliber? And does your message to the team adjust at all, preparing to face a team like this?
Not necessarily, because if you didn't play well up to this point, then this weekend doesn't mean anything. So each weekend means a lot. Each game means a lot. And so, I don't know, we try to make sure that the team knows, even though it's, we try to make sure that the team knows that each opportunity is of equal value. Without taking care of business against supposedly the teams that aren't as good as a UCLA or whatever on the record column, win-loss column, you don't get an opportunity playing postseason play and all that kind of stuff. So each one of these weekends is really important. Preparing these guys to play their best is really our mission each and every week. There are some tendencies that each team may do a little bit differently than the other that we'll address in our practice planning. But we're really just trying to keep these guys understanding that no matter who you're playing, it's not necessarily about who you're playing, but it's how you're playing the game of baseball. And preparing to play the game of baseball better is really our mission objective versus playing against an opponent.
Just going back to Junior briefly, you've seen so many baseball games in your life that I imagine like very specific instances in games are hard to like either be impressed by or to get too high or low on. But when he hits like a 497-foot home run like against Illinois, like how do you feel about like seeing something like that? Is that impressive to you? Like just like his power profile seems like very unique even for like kind of like the modern age of college baseball.
Yeah, it's freakish. It's freakish when you start seeing guys hitting balls over 500 feet and just his physicality and the strength of some of these guys. It's really impressive. As a player, I got to, play and win a national championship. I never hit a ball 500 feet. I mean, my God, to be able to see some of the things that he and Dom Hellman from a power standpoint can do is really spectacular. A consistency of play like a Drew Smith or a Ryan Cooney can do, or a stellar shortstop that Maddox Maloney can do. I mean, it's really neat. It's really neat, and it's rewarding to see those guys do so well. But it's not just the power that Junior has. I mean, that's one small example. It's so much of it. And so when we have a good team, which we do, you see it on a day in and day out basis. And I don't know, for me, I mean, you should see practices. They're really impressive. Like some of the plays Elijah Cook made yesterday in practice were just unbelievable. And, they don't go on SportsCenter. They don't go on SportsCenter on practice yesterday, and the fans don't get to see them. But, so when it happens in a game, you sit there and just go, wow, I saw that about 15 times last week. And actually, that was probably the worst catch out of all 15 of them that made SportsCenter's top 5 plays or whatever, right? And so it just really is humbling when you're out there each and every day being around these guys, because you see some unbelievable, amazing things with these athletes.
You take a lot of pride in being one of the premier teams on the West Coast. Just what type of opportunity does not only this weekend but also next weekend present against both UCLA and USC to have postseason caliber competition to close out the regular season?
We just go one weekend at a time, one game at a time. So this weekend we go down to Los Angeles, play them. The next weekend we'll get to that when we get to that. It's just playing baseball well, and we played against other good teams, and it's just about playing baseball well. And you don't get too emotional about the type of team. I mean, this is an interesting one because just how they've played this year, they've got records and stuff that they're trying to break or whatever. They've positioned themselves so well with how well they've played that there's different unique storylines with this one from their standpoint. And our standpoint is to go down there and beat them 3 times. That's our goal, and that's what we're preparing to do. And it's not going to be easy because they're really, really good.
Yeah, obviously Cholowski gets a lot of the headlines, but I think
he should. He's really good.
He should, for sure. But they're hitting over 300 as a team. What stands out about their lineup, just top to bottom?
Well, I mean, let's just start with last night's game. Last night they didn't strike out a single time. They didn't walk a single hitter, and I think they only hit one guy with a hit by pitch. And so that stands out quite a bit, right? I don't know how many times in the history of baseball a team doesn't walk somebody on the other team and then they don't strike out offensively in one game. I don't know if that's probably a very rare, odd situation. And UCLA was able to do that in a baseball game last night. It tells you they're elite at a lot of things. They're really elite at getting on base. And when they get on base, they have physical players to where they can damage a mistake. The best way to, counter that is, limit free base runners, make quality pitches. They are human beings. It's not like we haven't faced good hitters in the past. We've faced really good hitters in the past. And the bottom line is we have a lot of good hitters in our lineup. And when I watch them hit and people make good pitches against us, then they're usually out. And when they don't make good pitches against really physical good hitters, they usually punish them. And so we'll see the same with UCLA's hitters. They're good hitters. They'll punish bad pitches, and usually good pitches will probably get them out. And so our focus will just be on making good pitches.
Brayton Jackson did something this weekend that hasn't been done for your team since 2015. He started in 3 different defensive positions in a 3-game series. Just what makes him as a freshman so versatile defensively that you can plug him anywhere on the diamond and he can be productive?
His best defensive position is catcher. He's able to play other places, but the reason why he's in the lineup each and every day is because of how he impacts the ball with the bat, right? He's a tremendously talented player when it comes to offense right now. His defense, he'll get better and better each day. From the catching side of it, he's already a very elite defender. And, oddly, we have another catcher here, too, that's a really elite defender, so we've got 2 of them. And so as he goes, the reason why he's in the lineup each and every day specifically right now is because of how he impacts the ball with the bat and how he can conduct an at-bat. And the kid's fast, too, so he can get around the bases pretty quick and score runs. He's been a really good offensive player for us. He's an awesome teammate, a great human being. We're lucky to have him. And so that's why he's been in the lineup, and his flexibility on different positions is just because he's a tremendous athlete and he can play those spots.
Every series, obviously, in a season is important for a team and its growth, but you don't get many opportunities to take on the quote-unquote number 1 team in the country. When you get an opportunity like this, win or lose this series this weekend, I know the goal is to win, what do you feel like a series like this could do for this team? A couple weeks left, with the hopes of a potentially deep postseason run.
Time will tell. I know that when you beat good teams, then you can get more confident because the guys know that they can beat good teams because they just did it. And so when you beat good teams, or we've beaten good teams this year and in the past, they just get more and more confident in their ability to play against whoever, people say are good teams. And by the end of it, just like it was in, all the really good teams that I've been a part of, whether it's a national championship team or anywhere all the way down, there comes a point where you realize that you are one in an elite group of teams that are really vying for the best team. Because I think these guys already know they're a really good team. They've played that way. They know that. Are they the best team or not? That's where you determine, so weekends like this and postseason play and all that kind of stuff, that's where it'll determine that. And so it's really a lot of fun because you're playing against somebody that has been identified through their body of work as being a really good team. And so you got 2 really good teams meeting up with each other. And in the past, we've always embraced that. I think a year ago, we had two really good teams with us and Oregon State meeting up here at PK Park, and we really embraced that. We thought that was awesome, and being able to play against teams that have a body of work that can be described that way, what an opportunity. And so I think we're all looking at this weekend with a lot of enthusiasm. Can't wait to get on an airplane, get down there, but first things first, we get a chance to be able to practice today, and today's a really important practice day for us.
Yeah, you talked about the one day at a time approach for years and years, but with this team in particular, with so much youth in the lineup, is there sort of a different challenge in kind of instilling that to them, not looking ahead to, seeing social media and the projections and stuff like that, or is it the same as years past?
It's a good question. I'm learning the team as we go. I'm around the team more than the fans are, obviously, and so we have some advantages there. But still, we're just learning their personalities as we go. We really try to keep them grounded and just, focus on today, because I think they've learned through the days, they've played close games against so-called bad teams, and they've won against so-called good teams. I think they're starting to understand, you got to show up and play every day. It doesn't really matter who you're playing. It's a game of baseball. And so you can win or you can lose against, really good or really bad teams. And it really does come down to, are you going to show up? You're going to show up and play that day. And so I think they're clearly being able to see that versus playing a name across the jersey of a team. What was it, a couple weeks ago? It was Nebraska came into our park, and they're going to be really, really good. They are. They're a really good team. And yet we showed by the end of that weekend that we were better than Nebraska on that weekend, and so that's the objective. Are we going to be the better of the two teams this weekend? That's our goal, is to come out of the weekend. I think the entire year so far, I want to say we've only not been the better of the two teams on one of those weekends the entire season so far. And so there's a lot to be said for that. It's a good body of work, and we're looking to do the same thing this weekend, is be the better of the two teams.
It's Coach Wasikowski on the big series for Oregon baseball coming up this weekend against UCLA on Friday. First pitch will be at 7 o'clock, a 6:45 pregame, then a 6:30 first pitch on Saturday with a 6:15 pregame, and then a noon first pitch on Sunday in a massive series. These are the type of series you have to win if you're Oregon at this spot in the season. At least the second that Oregon will go down there, the RPI will raise for Oregon. But over these next 6 games, Ducks have to be successful if Oregon wants to host in a regional round. The Ducks are right on that bubble. Getting wins over the next 2 weekends is going to be massively important, and it starts on Friday for Oregon against UCLA. Taking a timeout, a big reason why Oregon could have success, a good Sunday starter. We're talking to him when we return after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey campers, it's Jan from Toyota. This summer, we're headed to Camp Toyota, and the fun starts now. Your summer starts here.
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends June 1st. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey campers, it's Jan from Toyota. This summer, we're headed to Camp Toyota, and the fun starts now. Your summer starts here.
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends June 1st. Toyota, let's go places.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Inside the Country Financial Studio, it's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano here with you on a Thursday, getting you geared up for a big weekend. Oregon softball about 10 minutes away from first pitch. Might be a little bit longer than that with the Nebraska and Michigan game still going on. There'll probably be some turnover period over at the Big Ten tournament, but in just a few moments and within the hour probably, Oregon softball going to start their postseason journey against Wisconsin today at the Big Ten tournament. Oregon baseball a few weeks away, but it feels like postseason series on the horizon with the Ducks going on the road to play UCLA. Miles Gostola, he has stepped into a Sunday position as Oregon's Sunday starter. He met with the media yesterday previewing the matchup against UCLA and his development over the course of the season and now being inserted into the weekend rotation. Here's Miles Gostola.
Obviously a pretty big weekend for this program or for this team heading down to UCLA to take on the Bruins. Just what's the kind of team's mindset heading into this series, understanding that there's only, I think, two full weeks left of regular season before Big Ten conference play, or Big Ten tournament play begins for you guys?
I mean, regardless of opponent, we're going into both these series looking to get 3 wins. I mean, it's a great opportunity we have ahead of us going to Westwood. We're really looking forward to it.
Just take me through your journey this season where you start as a guy out of the bullpen, then you're utilized as a midweek starter, and now you're the Sunday starter. Just take me through your journey and your mindset over the course of the season to where you are now.
Well, I mean, Coach Flo, Coach Waz, Coach Dan, even Coach Martyr have all had a huge hand on kind of just my entire journey this season through struggles, through success, of kind of keeping a middle just mindset of not getting too high, not getting too low. And I think, ramping up physically is one thing, but also ramping up mentally was another. And that's really where Coach Flo and Coach Martyr have had such a heavy hand on me and kind of preparing me for some of these outings and coaching me through getting through the first inning has been, my big struggle recently. And that's what we've been hammering this week, of get those first 3 outs.
You actually alluded to what I was going to ask you about, which is just the ability mentally, that fortitude as a starter, right, to stay out there. What has that been like for you? Can you take us through that process? How do you get mentally tough in that way?
Well, I had the great opportunity at my past school starting on weekends, and obviously that's had a heavy hand in experience-wise of probably why I got slotted into this Sunday spot. But also, I mean, we're playing bigger, probably better teams here, and it's definitely been a bit of an adjustment at first of finding my footing, but having the guys around me such as Ryan Cooney, Maddox, Drew in the infield being able to talk to me through every pitch has been huge.
It felt like your season kind of flipped down in San Diego when you had that start against UCSD. Just how much was that a confidence builder for you? And did you feel like that was a turning point for your season?
Absolutely. I mean, I had 2 weeks before that, I didn't touch the ball at all. And I kind of had a lot of self-reflection over, how much do you really love this game? And it's kind of just put your head down in work time. And 2 weeks of not touching the ball really gives you a lot of time to reflect and build and kind of sharpen the knife as far as your game goes. And I would say that I looked at that as just like, this is an opportunity to really see what you can do.
You talked about having those guys on the infield kind of be there and have your back. What are some of those moments maybe that you can recall this season where you've had some struggles and the infield's come in and kind of helped you get back on track, and just can you kind of explain about what those moments do for you when you are struggling? How do they help?
I even look at my last outing against Washington of, the first guy hits a laser up the middle off of me. Next guy home run. You never want to start a game that way. And I was definitely frustrated. And then I hit the next guy. Out of frustration, I let that pass pitch bleed into the next one, which you never want that to happen. But after that, Drew was just yelling at me over and over. He's like, you're better than that. You're better than that. Getting that message through my head. And that's really where it was like, all right, settle in, trust your defense here, and get the ball over the plate.
I know Chalowski obviously gets a lot of the headlines, but I think that UCLA lineup's hitting over 300. What stands out other than the numbers about that lineup?
Going into outings, obviously, I mean, we get great scouting reports from all of our managers, but headed into things, it's not – I don't really necessarily pitch to teams' weaknesses. I pitch to my strengths, regardless of the name on the jersey. We're playing against the game at the end of the day.
You mentioned Drew and how he helped you out on the hill. We've seen quite a few times this season where Drew, whether it be with you or with a whole host of other pitchers, come up, give a pat on the back. Just how has that veteran infield really helped, and Drew specifically, in terms of continuing to instill confidence on the hill?
I mean, all those guys are huge. I would call them the captains of our team, that infield, and having those guys out there with you has been awesome. And, I mean, just to give credit, like Drew's the last guy that hands the ball to you before every inning. It's, the routine of like, look that guy in the eyes and hear what he has to say. And he's always got something positive, and it always helps just kind of settle you down. Look at it almost as, one of those preseason scrimmages rather than like a big game. Kind of just calms the nerves talking to that guy.
Similar vein, just working with your battery, right? Working with Berkeley, working with Braden, and then also the rhythm with you and Coach Flo in calling pitches. Just what's that been like this year? How much of a key has that been for you?
I mean, Burke and Braden are both just awesome people off the field, so they're really easy guys to work with. And I've loved watching Braden develop so much as a person, and I think he picks up a lot of the things that he's learned this year off of Burke. And it's been amazing to be a part of and just watch that front row seat. As far as working with Coach Flo, I mean, that guy fits this program like a glove. It's amazing how well he jives with everybody on the pitching staff. We've got such a nice, like, loose, just be yourself environment, and he just kind of allows guys to grow. And if he feels like he needs to step in, he does so. And I think he's done an amazing job with a lot of these young guys.
You talked about building confidence on the hill and things of that nature. When things are kind of starting out rough for you, what's the process for you like to not maybe channel back to that time period where you didn't have the ball into your hands and maybe move forward and shake through whatever tough challenges you're going through at that time?
As far as all that goes, it's, we have so many talented guys on our team, and I think when you're at that middle part of the season like we were, it was really, we're still experimenting on roles and seeing how certain guys fit into things. But, when I look back on that, I always just think, this is the sport I love. I've grown up loving it. It's a child's game at the end of the day, and I think in that stretch I was taking things just a little too seriously, looking at it more as a job and like a life than really, this is the game I love. I've played it since I was 5 years old. Go out there loose and have fun with it. Don't, go out there so tight and put all this pressure on yourself that really just doesn't need to be there.
First pitch strike is always important, but it feels like for you, maybe even more so than some other pitchers, that first pitch strike unlocks in at bat. Just take me into your approach on a pitch-to-pitch basis and how a first pitch strike can help unlock the rest of your arsenal.
Well, I mean, we're playing a lot of quality opponents, especially recently. And, yeah, the first pitch strike is really important, but you can't just groove one right down the plate because these guys will attack early. I would say, depending on where the pitch is kind of what it unlocks. But I definitely think getting into that 0-1 where a guy can't lean on when you're down 1-0, he's got to get the ball over the plate or you're going to be 2-0. You can go down that rabbit hole both ways. But I think getting that 0-1 has definitely been critical for me this entire stretch.
That's Miles Gostolo. It was great to hear from him since he's been able to make that move into the starting rotation. It's been almost a tale of two seasons for him, and he's been really good for the Ducks as of late. Certainly gave the Ducks their best start on the hill over the weekend, last weekend against Washington. The Ducks are going to need some really quality pitching efforts against a very talented and potent UCLA lineup that has not lost yet in Big Ten play. Coming up this weekend, Friday at 7, Saturday at 6:30, and then Sunday at noon. The first pitch times for Oregon against UCLA. For Oregon softball going up against Wisconsin in the Big Ten tournament, the game before them just finished up, so it's going to be a 2 p.m. first pitch time. So right when we get off of air here will be when Oregon will throw their first pitch of postseason play. In Maryland, it's a long trip for Oregon softball. They made the trip cross country, but they're coming up shortly to start their postseason journey, coming up in exactly a half hour from now. Oregon women's golf is not a long way away from their postseason journey. We're talking with one of their standouts, Tong An, came into studio a few days ago. We'll get to her conversation with Joey Mack when we return on Duck Inside on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
When life blindsides you with an injury, you need a team that's tough. For over 30 years, Morgan & Morgan has been fighting for the people. This season, we're proud to partner with Oregon Athletics. Because whether it's on the field or in the courtroom, we're both determined to do what it takes to win. Morgan & Morgan, proud partner of Oregon Athletics. Injured? Dial pound law. Morgan & Morgan, 10150 Southwest 6th Avenue, Portland. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
This is Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force, and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA. It's really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families. And one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Emmettith and Nicholas.
Congratulations on getting your diploma.
You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
I'm coming home to the place that I remember, back to the land of my first love. Would you spread wide your arms for this wayward son? I left my heart in Oregon.
We're back inside the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ron Milano here with you on a Thursday, getting you ready for a lot of postseason action. Oregon softball about to get ready to throw their first pitch in postseason play in about 28 minutes from Maryland, where they will face off against Wisconsin in the first round, or rather, their first game, the second round, the quarterfinal round of the Big Ten tournament. Oregon women's golf getting ready for postseason action as well. They're headed to Waco for their regional round, and one of their standouts, Tong An, they call her AT on the Oregon women's golf team. She came into studio a few days ago, caught up with Joey Mack after a very successful regular season, now getting geared up for another postseason run with Oregon women's golf. Let's hear from Joey and AT.
Postseason is coming up for Oregon women's golf, and it is our pleasure to welcome Tong An AT into the studio. Hey, welcome to the studio. It's the first time that you've been here. What do you think? How do you like it?
Well, thanks for having me. It's a pretty cool place. I think you have all the posters on the ground, and I like the football helmets and the baseball gloves. It's really cool.
Well, I have to tell everyone a little bit of behind the broadcast. The first thing AT did when she sat down was put the football helmet on. Have you ever worn a football helmet before?
Actually, no. It's my first time.
First time for everything, AT.
Yes.
There's no pads in the helmet, so it kind of just sat right on your shoulders. But
yes.
The helmets are something. Are you glad that you do not have to wear a helmet in your sport?
Well, yes, 100%. It is quite heavy.
It is quite
heavy. Yeah, I
heavy.
need to do more neck exercises.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. How heavy is your bag? Like, you're carrying your bag all the time.
I would say it's probably like 12.
I mean, that
13
adds
kilograms.
up.
Yep.
Right? That
Yeah.
adds up over the course of the
Yeah.
entire golf
Yeah.
round.
Yeah, so that's why maybe I have a back injury, so I push all the time.
See, there you go. There you go. AT joining
Yeah.
us. So we wanted to cover a lot of things, AT, over the course of the conversation today. But let's begin with just go back. Why did you choose Oregon? Why did you become a Duck once upon a time?
Not gonna lie, it's all because of our head coach, Coach D. I was choosing in between USC and Oregon, and I chose Oregon because I feel like the connection between me and Coach D was really special. He's such a nice guy.
You know, we talk about, hey, between Oregon and whoever else you chose between. Well, we're glad that you chose Oregon,
Yes,
AT.
I think I made the right choice.
So far, so good. An all Big Ten first teamer this year in your sophomore campaign. Had some of the best rounds that we've seen in the history of Oregon women's golf from a freshman. So I want to go back to last year, if we could, a little bit. How much have you grown as a player from last year to this year?
Wow. I feel like words can't really describe, but me and the coaches, I believe we can all feel it on the golf course during the tournament. I would say this year on the golf course, I'm more calm and more patient on the golf course.
Interesting.
Yes.
Patient.
Yes.
You felt like maybe you were impatient? You were not patient enough?
I was not, to
Really?
be honest with you. Yes, because last year when I first got here, I was not very used to play in these tough conditions in America because the courses are so different. Greens are all firm and fairways are a lot more narrow. Sometimes you just have to be focusing on one shot at a time. But then I felt like I was kind of like rushing it during my round, and then sometimes I have like a couple bad holes, and then it's just really like ruined my round.
Is that something then that Coach D helped you with?
Yes. Yes, 100%.
How much of a difference is there with the golf courses? You alluded to it a little bit there. Could you
Yeah.
go deeper on that? Like, what are the differences with the courses?
Greens are a lot firmer and quicker, so the speed we have here in America is probably all around 10.5 to 12. I don't know how they measure that, but like back home it'll be like a 7 and an 8. Maximum 9, I would say.
Interesting.
So the greens are faster and the pin locations are a lot more trickier actually.
Interesting.
So most of the time we can't aim at the pin unless you hit it as straight as Kiara Romero.
Right. Well, you know, and you touched on your team there. I mean, just tell us about the team. What's it been like playing with this group of women?
This team is very diverse. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it's very international. We have a lot of Asian players on the team. A lot of us have already known each other before coming to college, so it's just really easy for us to build up this connection, and then we take care of each other like a family. I feel like it's very special to have player like Suvichaya and Kiara Romero on the golf team because they're already like pro-ready level, so it's really special to be able to practice and play with them every week so that we can actually learn from them.
You touched on the international nature of your roster. How cool is that to just be able to talk to people of such different backgrounds?
Yes, it's really interesting. We're all learning different languages. This week we're learning Japanese from Annika and Karen, and then it's just really fun.
Yeah, it's so much culture, to say the least,
Yes.
on the team. And then I'm curious the competition level. You talked about like you play with these great players. Is practice sometimes as competitive as a tournament just because you have such great players on the roster?
It does. Usually, coach will set up some matches when we're playing on the course, and then every year we do like a Ryder Cup style match.
Right.
And then usually we split up 2 teams and then play against each other and play for like a small present or something. Yeah. It's really cool.
Makes sense. AT, our guest, talking Oregon women's golf, getting ready for postseason. I want to come back to Coach Radley.
Yes.
For fans that don't know Coach D, how do you describe Coach Derek Radley?
Well, one sentence to describe him, I would say he's a really interesting guy.
Okay.
I would say he's not very emotional. He doesn't really get mad.
He's calm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when
He's calm.
you touched on you've become more calm on the golf course.
Yes.
You know? So I know you said you took that from him a little bit, but that relationship with a coach and a player, that's got to mean a lot to you.
Yes. I think he's a great inspiration for me and the rest of the team. He always tells us one shot at a time, but also each shot counts, and you're doing it for your team, not just yourself.
Yeah.
So I would say whenever we struggled on the golf course, we think about each other and the amount of work that we put in every day, so that we can just lock in and then focus on each and every shot.
You touched on the team aspect of golfing. Collegiate golf has a team. You know, golf isn't really thought of as a team sport. I imagine growing up, individual, it was so focused on that.
Mm-hmm.
What's that dynamic like? What's that like to be on a team in your sport at this point in your career?
I love having a team and being and practice with other girls. Growing up, I'm usually just practice alone or with my parents. So this feels really special, and I would say practice with friends is just more fun than practice alone.
It is so cool to catch up with AT Tong An in studio with Joey Mack. That's just part one of the conversation. Oregon women's golf getting ready for the Waco Regional starting on Monday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week will be when Oregon will be in their postseason, or the beginnings of postseason play in the regional round for the Ducks on the golf course. And AT is going to be a big part of Oregon's postseason run. She already has been for a postseason run for Oregon before, and now she is part of what is such a cool and diverse group that Coach Radley has put together. It's just so awesome to see her talk to the fans and interact with the studio. I mean, coming into the studio, putting that helmet on right away, super cool to hear from Tong An. We're getting to hear part two of the conversation from a very talented Oregon women's golfer getting ready for the postseason and for the regional play. Part two of the conversation coming up when we return on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial.
Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle or forget extra diapers. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never, ever become a minivan mom. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, no, it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
We just kind of knew from the beginning that we were family.
They showcased a sense of love that I never had before. I mean, he's not only my parent, he's like my best friend.
At the end of the day, it's all been worth it. I wouldn't change a thing about our lives.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
You know you make me wanna kick my heels up and throw my hands up and throw my head back and come on now. Don't forget to say you will. Don't forget to say yeah.
We're back inside the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano here with you on a Thursday, but just a few days ago, before Oregon women's golf got prepared to head out to Waco for the regional round, one of their star players, AT Tong An, sat down with Joey Mack. Part 2 of the conversation from Oregon women's golfer Tong An with Joey Mack, breaking down everything about her experience around the University of Oregon before Oregon women's golf heads into regional play. Part 2 of their conversation.
Getting ready for postseason. Now, you've been through some postseason already. You've played in regionals. But see, that's experience, though.
Okay, yes.
Okay, so we wanted to have a little bit of fun. For those that maybe don't remember, AT last year in a pressure situation, this was the 20th hole. Okay, so we're in playoff golf here at this point. And a critical putt. We've got the video for you, AT.
Okay.
What was that feeling like?
Honestly, I watch that video sometimes by myself as well.
I love
it was insane.
So this putt sent Oregon to the semifinals, the national semifinals last year. You talk about the team aspect, AT. I mean, we see your whole team reacting there. Like, that's emotional, right?
Yes, and for some reason, I started crying.
Hey, I get it.
Yeah, that was a lot of pressure. I was expecting for a different vibe of celebration, but then I started crying.
Well, I get it, though. Emotional moment. You worked hard to be in that situation.
Yeah, I felt like, those couple of holes, it was just a lot of pressure. I was leading by 4 through 8, and I thought I can get this point for my team 100%. But then on the back 9, my opponent just started to make a couple birdies, and then I was just making a couple mistakes. And then on 16, I think we were all squared. 17, 18, I had 2 opportunities for birdie, but I missed the putt short. And then it was really good that Clea was walking with me. She makes me feel calm, and then she just told me to hit the putt harder. So I wasn't that nervous during the playoff holes, but I know I have to win at some point.
There's a lot of pressure, though. You touched on that in those situations.
There was a lot of pressure, yes.
And remember, so in collegiate golf, you have, right, you mentioned Ryder Cup, AT, and you talk about match play at certain points versus stroke play. It's different, isn't it? What's it like as a player? What are the differences for fans to understand? What are the differences between stroke play and match play?
Match play, you play against with one opponent. Even if you make birdie on that hole, you might still lose the hole, because if your opponent made an eagle, then you lose. But from a player point of view, I would say for us, it'll be better if we still focus on ourselves instead of putting all of our attention on the opponent. Because I've experienced that last year in the fall. I think I lost 3 matches in a row, and I told coaches and my teammates that I absolutely hated match play. So we did quite a bit of work during the spring, and then Coach D just told me it would be great if I can just focus on myself during the match play, and then I won 2 matches in a row during nationals, so it gave me a lot of confidence.
Paid off. All right, you talk about that hard work paying off. Getting ready now for regionals. What's it like? Are you excited? I mean, how do you feel heading into regionals again this year?
I feel very excited because I have a lot of confidence in my team and my coaches, honestly. I think we'll do great. Yeah. Last year we won the regional. I think this year we have another opportunity, even though we're not the first seed. But I think we just haven't performed the best yet. But I think it's good to save it for the postseason.
Yeah. Makes sense. More on the postseason in a moment, but first we wanted to take a little bit of time to get to know you. I've been told that you are a very, very big basketball fan.
Yes,
so
that's true.
So if you weren't playing golf, would you be playing basketball?
I don't think I can. I'm a little too short.
You could be a sharpshooter, just like hitting the putts. You could hit the threes from outside.
I wish I was a little bit taller. If I can grow up to 5'8", it would be a lot easier.
5'8", all right. Okay. You got time. You could still grow.
But I shoot around with some of the basketball friends sometimes, and I take them to golf sometimes. Ari and Peyton, they gave me a couple drills.
Oh, cool.
So sometimes I would just work on those during the off season.
So you're learning. I mean, you're learning basketball from the basketball team.
Yes, I'm learning. Yes.
That's awesome. Are they good golfers?
They're pretty good, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're teaching them golf too?
They have really fast club head speed.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right. I think they're swinging without fear, which is awesome.
Well, that's what you do, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so basketball. What else do you do? I know you go to a lot of different sporting events, don't you?
Mostly basketball.
Basketball?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And my other free time, I probably just do homework and sleep.
Homework's important.
Yeah.
Business major, right?
Yes, I just applied to the business school, and I hope I can pass calculus this term so that I can get in.
Calculus is no joke. I can confirm, having taken it here. It is. I get it.
Yes, but I get a lot of support from the learning specialists and tutoring in JQuA, so it's helpful.
And that's got to be a huge, huge resource for you,
Yes.
right? What's the JQuA like? Tell fans that don't know, what's the JQuA do for you?
JQuA is the study center for the student athletes. During your freshman year, you have to have a minimum of 8 hours of study hall or tutoring. And it's just a really good resource for you when you're missing classes. You can request tutoring so that they can help you to catch up with the lectures that you've missed. And then whenever I have midterms or finals, I always study with the learning specialist. So whenever I have questions, they can answer me right away.
Student athlete. All right, we've talked about your coaches, you coming to Oregon and now getting ready for regionals. What are the keys to success? What does the team need to do to be successful here in the regional?
I would say for our team, we just have to be patient and play smart. Coach D does a really good work for like preparation for the tournaments. During our practice round, he always go check out the conditions around the green, and then he always write notes on the yardage book, things like if you can get up and down from this spot. And then whenever we get our pin sheet for the day, he mark it out on the pin sheet so that we can look at it when we're hitting our approach shot to make sure we miss on the right side.
Being patient, right? Being calm. And we've talked about a lot, just so much growth. Well, thanks for being here in the studio.
Thank you.
Thanks for being a Duck, you know?
Yes.
You chose Oregon, and you said it earlier, made the right choice, huh?
Yeah, I feel pretty grateful. I think the amount of support I get here in Oregon is very special.
Well, we're glad
from
that
all
you're
the
here.
stuff.
We're glad that you're here. Best of luck in the postseason. Travel safe, Tong An, AT.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you. Go Ducks.
Fantastic conversation between Joey Mack and Tong An. Just great getting to know her and her experience, and really echo the sentiment. Glad that she is a Duck. Postseason play coming up for Oregon softball. We'll preview that, as well as the season for Oregon soccer. There's a new schedule that we have. We'll get it to you when we come back on Duck Inside on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
We know you turn to the Duck Store for all your game day needs. And for students at the University of Oregon, it's even more. Class supplies, jobs, a seat on our board, a place to take a quick coffee break. Because we're your student-first, non-profit college store, every purchase you make directly supports the very community we serve. From working in our counters to studying in the classroom, from directing our stores to cheering in the stands, the people we serve, the students, are the very people who are the Duck Store.
Back to the Country Financial Studios in 60 seconds. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom
She started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
When I smoke weed, I get lost in the music. I like to isolate each instrument. The rhythmic bass, the harmonies on the piano, the sticky melody.
Hey, careful, babe. There's someone crossing the street.
Sorry, I didn't see him there.
If you feel different, you drive different. Don't drive high. It's dangerous and illegal everywhere. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. And I hope that you guys understand what's going on underneath the desk here in the Country Financial Studio, because there is so much stuff that's all down underneath the desk. And I just found something new. There's a very small Rubik's Cube. Now, I don't know how to do a Rubik's Cube. I did at one point in time. I don't anymore. But Joey does. So I think I might just mess this up a little bit. It can't be more messed up than it is right now. But yeah, it's a new toy. Joey is going down to Los Angeles with the Oregon baseball team, getting ready for a big-time series down in L.A. for Oregon baseball. Oregon softball getting geared up for the postseason as the Big Ten tournament for them will start today. In 4 minutes will be first pitch. So go flip over to Big Ten Network and go watch Oregon softball. Also, yesterday, Oregon soccer announced that their schedule for the 2026 season. Oregon will open up their year on the road against Portland State on August 13th. First game at Pape Field will be on August 16th against Gonzaga. Home games against Oregon State, Utah, and then in Big Ten play against Rutgers, Maryland, UCLA, Penn State, Iowa, and Michigan. The Ducks will also go on the road for a few games in non-conference play, playing Santa Clara and San Francisco in non-conference action on the road, and then road games in the Big Ten against USC, Northwestern, Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Washington. There are also 2 games that will be played before the official season starts, both of them on the road exhibitions. August 5th against Portland, and then August 8th against Idaho, getting ready for year 2 under Tracy Joyner for Oregon soccer. Ducks softball getting ready for the postseason. It's starting just about now. Flip over the channel, Big Ten Network. I'll be back with you tomorrow. Big weekend in Oregon athletics. Go Ducks!
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked.